He recommends it, actually, it seems.
Yeah. Okay.
But, I mean, there were questions about Eastern Rite priests, too, right?
There's another question about penance, about if one were to find an Eastern Rite priest, that they could ascertain some certainty about the validity of their orders, if they could go to them for confession, even if this Eastern Rite priest be a member of the modernist Novus Ordo Church. If they had valid orders, could one go to confession to them?
Yes, well, if they're validly ordained, they would have the power of granting absolution, especially in an extreme case like that. I mean, even someone who is an excommunicatus vitandus, the most severe form of excommunication in the church, even one who's excommunicated by a decree, most specially reserved to the Holy See, is still, by canon law itself, has the power to grant absolution to someone who is in extreme necessity, in an emergency, I guess we'd call it here. And that's for the benefit of the faithful. That's because the power of the sacraments exists for the sake of the salvation of souls. The supreme law of the church, as you know, is the salvation of souls. And so the church waives all the other considerations when a soul is in need of the grace of God through the sacraments, or they're in danger of death. Even someone as unworthy as I say, an excommunicatus vitandus, someone who's excommunicated in such a way that he would actually have to be avoided by the faithful. And that if he walked into a church, the Mass and the divine office, whatever, would have to stop until he left. I mean, that's how serious it is. But he would have the power to absolve someone who was in danger of death, who needed the benefit of the sacrament. So, yes, I mean, if there's an Eastern Rite priest who is validly ordained and who could and would grant valid absolution under those circumstances, one should ask, and that priest should grant that.
Would that only be in danger of death? What if one is just say
when we say Eastern Rite, we're talking about Catholic now. You know? Because there are those who say, well, it's possible that the Orthodox, an Orthodox schismatic clergyman would be validly ordained. And so I could receive absolution from him. But there are those who say, but because that would, he said, out of deference and love for the church, which is insulted by that schism, I will simply ask God for the grace of perfect contrition and ask God that mercy, rather than, in his own mind, let's say, sully that connection with the church by going to a schismatic who might be validly ordained. We don't know for sure, but who could possibly absolve me validly. There are those who would not do that because they feel that it would be almost like an act of betrayal to the true church. But that's a personal decision that they would make. But I'm sorry, Tom, you asked a question just now.
If there is this hypothetical validly ordained Eastern Rite priest who's a member of the modernist Novus Ordo Church, should one go to confession to him outside of these circumstances, these most extreme circumstances? If he just say there's no other priest around, and he finds this valid priest, should he go to confession?
Yes, outside of those extreme circumstances, one could go and avail himself of that priest's valid ordination and willingness to grant absolution.
Right.
He could.
Okay.
Yeah. That would not require him to be in extremis and in peril of death.
Yeah.